I'll start it. Well, let me start with you. Radhe Radhe. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parang Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti 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 Sahanao Abatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryamakaravavahai Tejasvinao Adhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Well, I gotta find a new Mangalacharan for the Panchatantra. Okay, let's get started here. We're on story number 15, and here the story is called Durasha, which means a hope that is a bad hope, or an inauspicious intent, inauspicious hope, something like that. So this is in right near the beginning of the actual original Panchatantra. But let's get started. Only we're having a small thing. I think the last couple of weeks I was over ambitious in in the class, and we did so I probably lost a few people on account of that. I try to keep it simple here, folks. All right, Vinod, let's see you. Vinodini, why don't you start? Read the first sentence.
Purvam kasmins chit grama haridataha nama brahmanaha asat.
Well, wait a second.
Where are you?
There you go. Read it again.
Okay. Purvam kasmins chit grama haridataha. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I have some writing on my page. Grame haridataha nama brahmanaha asit.
That's right.
So previously in some village, Haridata of the name Brahman, there was a Brahman of the name Haridata.
That's right. That's good. All right. Shamantika, since you're there, go ahead.
Saha Krishikarya Karotisma. He was doing Krishikarya.
Okay, Krishi. Well, you can see Krishi has the same as Krishna, right? It's coming from the same root. So Krishna, we usually say it means the attractive one, right? The one who's attracting. Krishi comes from the word to. Well, Krish means to pull, right? So you pull you're pulling the plow, and so Krishi is the word for farming. Yeah, so a farmer is a Krishaka, and so that but it comes from the idea of pulling the plow.
So it means that he was doing farming.
That's right. He did farm work. Well, that's not really quite good. Krishikaryam, because anybody could do Krishikaryam. Sarve Krishikaryam kartum shaknuvanti but somebody is an owner of land and does and farms, so that's a bit different. So I'm assuming that he was owning his land. Vinodini, do the next one.
Paryantu Durdaiva Vasat Tasya Kshetre Phala Samriddhi Eva Na Bhavati Sma. So, but I'm translating this Durdaiva Vasat as due to bad luck. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, due to bad luck, an abundance of produce did not arise from his field.
Yeah, samriddhi there. I guess you translate samriddhi with abundance is good. Phala samriddhi, but I mean it basically means a great amount of he didn't produce very much on his land.
Yeah.
All right, Shamantika, next.
I did not follow it closely, the previous one.
Okay, Parantu. Well, Vinodini, do it again. You did it perfectly. I see Vinodini's been preparing though. She's good.
Yeah. Parantu Durdaiva Vasat Tasya Kshetre Phala Samriddhi Eva Na Bhavati Sma. So Parantu, but Durdaiva Vasat, due to bad luck.
What is Vashat? I don't know.
Okay, this is
Durdeva is okay.
Pardon?
Durdeva, I understand. This is bad luck.
Yeah. Or so yes, Vashat. So Vashat is by the force of. So you see Vasha coming up a lot. This word comes up. It means to control. It's another one of these words that means controlling. So you could say from the control of bad luck, but that's a little going maybe a bit too far. But it means just due to the influence of bad luck, or because of, you can just reduce it even further and just say because of bad luck. You could have said you could. Well, it's a frequent. I've been saying this every time now. I'm probably getting quite boring, but this is and for instance in Bengali, this would be as it is in the Sanskrit form like this. You can use it in the modern language in Bengali, and probably in Hindi. I think that most Indian people would understand what it meant right away. It just means due to bad luck, but it comes from the vash dhatu, which means to control. And you have many words, vashikara. So vashikara is, they talk about mantras, vashikara mantra. Vashikara mantra means that it's a mantra where you control somebody else, right? You bring someone else under your control. Even I think that love potions are called vashikara mantras, because you get that this woman must fall in love with me, or this man must fall in love with me. So they call that vashikara. And Krishna is also Vashi Bhuta. So if you look in the manual, if you still have a manual around in the 8th chapter, I talk about Shvi. So I think there's a paragraph on Vash in there.
Where exactly?
In the 8th
chapter?
In the 8th chapter, near the end. It's called, I think it's called some other common verbal compounds or something like this.
I see.
Okay, go ahead.
And Phala Samriddhi, I also don't understand.
Yeah, well, so Vinodini translated that nicely as abundance of fruits. What was that you said? And but Samriddhi. Yeah. So Samriddhi is also like, if you come, look, Samantika, I know you're not at Jiva right now, but in the Jiva where I was staying, there's a little oh no, that's not what they say. Anyway, Riddhi is something, Samriddhi. This is an increase, a wealth, abundance. So abundance is a pretty good translation here. So the Phala Samriddhi, an abundance of fruit, which doesn't mean just fruit, but means crops here, because the results of his farming work. So he didn't get.
But I'm just curious, what's the dhatu? Phala is it's obvious, and in some it should be maybe.
I'll have to look, because it's connected, I think, to vriddhi, right?
But it's different anyway.
But it's not. Okay, all right. Let's open the dictionary here. We have time, I think. let me just open. Oh, you look at this. I have the other story. If we have time, I thought we'd listen to the little girl reading the story. Just for the time, let me see here. We got was Monia Williams up. Let's see. So it would be Ridhi. Let me.
And can you share also so
Yeah,
we see all?
Right here. One sec. This one. Can you see now?
Yes.
So it's Ridhi, but he doesn't give a. So if, let me just see if there's Rid. I don't know this. I'm only looking because I can't remember seeing the dhatu. So this is the dhatu here, Rid. But I've never seen this, so it means to grow, increase, prosper, succeed, and so on. But this is not a very common root, I have to say. But here you see down below at the very last line there, it says CF, Rad, and Vrid. So there's so sometimes you get this in the old language roots. Just like it's a pronunciation thing, probably. And at any rate, the roots get merged and they're connected to one another. Because if you look up Vrid also means to increase and so on. Like we have the Vridhi.
Yeah,
right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
All right, you're reading the next one.
Kadachit Haridatta Kshetre Karya Kurvan Asit. Once the field of Haridatta.
No.
Field of Haridatta.
Semantica, let me stop you there. You're making Haridatta Kshetre into a compound. There's Haridatta is in the nominative case.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Okay. So I think it is once Haridatta was doing work in his field.
That's right.
And why so many verbs? It feels superfluous.
Well, no, it's just that the Kurban Asit here. Well, this is something that I've talked about quite frequently because I've been saying about these, one of the features. Okay, so as we're going through this, I've been mentioning several different features of this particular language, right? The simplified language and how it's being calqued on the modern Indian languages and probably influenced by English as well. So this here is a present Kurvan Asit, that's a past continuous, right? Kurvan Asti, so you got a present participle and a past tense here. So Karyam Kurvan, doing work, he was. So he was doing work in the field.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
I see.
So far today that Vinodini is getting the long sentences and Samantika is getting the short ones. But since
Raj Kishore is here.
Okay, go ahead from Tada.
Raj Kishore is here though.
Oh, we got somebody else here?
Yep.
Braja Kishori, Jai Sri Radhe. Okay, are you ready to jump in?
Radhe Radhe Dandavat. Aham prayatnam karomi. Aham shaktum na aham na shaknomi padham padhitum sma.
Okay, go ahead. Pata. Well, we'll put you on. You'll be the next one. Okay. Let Vinodini do this one. And you'll do the next sentence.
Okay. Tada saha samipe vidyamanasya valmikasya upari stitam evam sarvam ekam sarpam drishtavan. So at that time, he, now I want to ask about this word Vidyamanasya. I assume that it modifies Valmikasya, the anthill,
Yeah.
but I don't really know how it's being used. It says, anyway, he saw one snake sitting on an anthill nearby.
Yeah, so Vidyamana, so Vidya here, well, this is an interesting word. I also, this is one of the words that means to be or to exist, right? So here I would say probably situated would be the best translation here. So vidyate, vartate, tishtati. These are the three main words that are used to indicate that something is situated physically somewhere. So vidyamana means it's present nearby. So samipe means nearby. So then he, on a nearby situated anthill, sitting, one snake he saw. Right, so that's the vidyamana. So this is a present participle, and it's actually passive. Vidyate is actually a passive of viddhatu, which means to know, right? Or is found. It more like, vid vindati. We have that meaning of vindati, which is to find something. So it is found. You could say like that. Near on an anthill, found nearby, being found nearby, being situated nearby.
I already have stitam in that sentence. So
Again,
that's confused.
Say again? I mean, I didn't get.
That sentence already contains the verb, the particle stitam. So it's twice. See, after upari, there's stitam. So it seems like why would you even put vidyamanasya?
Oh, no. Stitam here is going, well, you're quite correct to indicate that, like, as I just said, that stitam is, practically speaking, synonymous with vidyamana. But here, it's the Valmika that's being situated nearby, and the serpent is sitting on that anthill. So it's the stitam is going with the snake, and the vidyamana is going with the Valmika.
Okay, got it.
Right. So he saw a snake sitting on the anthill, which was nearby. Right. So here you could just put which was. It's only just a verb to be here. Okay. Next one. Patatu Babati. Brajakishori.
Mahodaya.
Agresarama.
Saha chintitavan. Eshaha sarpaha mama kshetrapalaha syat. He thought, this serpent, kshetrapalam, my kshetrapalam, palaha, I don't know, kshetrapalaha.
Okay. So here
Kshetra
syat
is field, but palaha, syat.
Well, here, this is what we would translate, I think, as must be. So he's making an assumption. He's making an assumption here about the snake. So this snake must be my, and kshetrapala. Well, who's seen this word before? And we have a special use of this word in Vrindavan. Kshetrapalaha. So kshetrapalaha in Vrindavan is Gopishwar Mahadev, the protector.
Oh, protector.
Yeah, the protector of the field. So when we say kshetra in relationship, yeah, so like that. So kshetrapala is often
like
used
Gopala.
Gopala,
Gopala,
yes.
palaha, kshetrapalaha.
Exactly.
Yat.
Okay, next one is.
And can you explain syat? I'm sorry, syat, I'm lost here. Syat.
Okay, well, syat is from the verb to be, us, right? And and it's here. It's in vidiling, but
it's vidiling.
So he's saying this snake should be, let's say, or could be, but I think that when with the way we would say it in English would be this snake must be, he's surmising that this snake must be the protector of my field, of my farm. Kshetra here would be, like in Hindi, the word for farming is kheti. Kheti. So ksha often becomes ka in the modern languages. So ksha, kheti. So kheti means to have a field. So that's what that's the Hindi word for farming. So that's the kshetra here means my farm. So he's the protector, or he is the god, the protecting god of my farm. Right. So it's an interesting thing. You have someone protecting. So this is the thing he's saying. This is an interesting story from that point of view. All right, next one, Samantika. Everybody's okay with that, by the way. Do you understand what's going on here? He's surmising. He's speculating. He's saying, Esha sarpaha mama kshetra palak syat. Atra Esha sarpa kim karoti. But this is the thing that in India, of course, the snakes are very special creatures in India, right? Especially in the places where they regularly bite people. But you have snake goddesses. In Bengal, you have Manasa Devi. You've heard of Manasa Devi? Manasa Devi is like right now, actually, where I was living in Navadvip, and I was living behind Madan Gopal Goswami's house, which is now Prema Gopal and Nitya Gopal Goswami's house. And that's right across the street from the Govinda Mandir. So Govinda Ji Mandir is probably the most influential mandir in Navadvip. And then right beside that, there was another temple for Manasa Devi. They had a big, clay, statue like they make for Durga Puja of Manasa Devi. So the goddess of the snakes there, she was right next door to Govindaji temple. So it's not such an opulent temple or anything, but it was like a kind of like a pandal in a way, that they just had that big deity there. But Manasa Devi is the goddess of snakes. And then you have and so snakes are venerated also. You have nagas like that. The nagas, the snakes, and snakes are in southern. Snakes are everywhere in Indian iconography. Around Shiva's throat, Shiva wears a garland of snakes, and so on and so on.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
That verb shintatavan, I don't know. I recognize it as a possessive noun. Is that wrong? What is it?
What, chintitavan?
Yeah.
Oh, no. This is again one of the characteristics. So this is although I'm here. This is something that's thrown at students right at the very beginning, but this is a perfect participle, right? So if you look it up in the manual, if you have a copy of my manual, I don't know, you probably you have a collection of all of them. So
I have it. I printed it out. I got it.
Yeah. So chintitavan. So you look at yes, a perfect participle. So this is but you're right to recognize it that way, because it has that possessive adjective function, like Bhagavan. So it's the chintita, but you see what he says. He has. So if you translated it, he has. This is how it becomes a perfect participle, right? So if you recognize van as being possessive, that he has. So what does he have? He has a chintita. So he has something that's been thought. You follow? Chintita, what you do to create the perfect participle is you add the vat suffixes to the past participle. So he has thought is really what it is literally, but it's being used here to say he thought. So this is one of the simplifications of modern Sanskrit. It's easy because you don't have to think about, well, is it achintayat, or worse yet, if you want to use the perfect tense, what is the perfect of chintitavan in the lung, in the lit? Can you tell me?
I don't know the Sanskrit names for all the tenses.
Okay, well, all right, sorry, but if you're using this, if you want to make the perfect tense for chint dhatu, for the root chint,
I don't know.
anybody? Can anybody do that? Brajesh Kishori.
Chint is which Gana?
10.
10.
Churadi.
So perfect should
Um,
be maybe
It
Chintita
would
Masa,
be,
no?
yeah, Masa.
Okay, right. You got the right
Chintita
thing.
Masa.
No, not Chintita Masa. You don't use you create another kind of
Oh, that's right.
Chintaya.
Chintaya Masa.
There you go. Chintaya Masa. So Chintayati is the present tense. And then to make the past the perfect, you have Chintayam Asa. Okay, shall we go
So
on?
this Chintitavan is what we call PPP.
No. We're calling it the trouble is that the PPP, that's, there's so many P's around that
It stands for love.
Yes,
using
that's why.
it's the perfect, but it's not passive, it's active. So really it should be called PAP. There's a pop. It's a papa. It's a sinful one.
Okay.
Okay, we ready to go on?
I just noticed that they
I
use
just
a lot
have-
of go ahead.
They're using lots and lots. Look here, Drishtavan.
They're using lots of participles instead of the verb forms.
That's correct. Yeah. So the only stricture there would be that these are being accompanied by, these, because they're participles, they have gender. So you have to say, so Drishtavan, that's the masculine, and if it was feminine, it would be?
Chintavati.
That's right. Chintityavati.
And Chintityavati. But does it also decline in plural, like Chintityavataha?
Chintitavantaha.
Chintitavantaha.
Yes, of course, yeah. But the only thing is, you see, well, you can use it. It can be in all tenses. It can be in all the cases. You can do the whole thing. It's just like a matuk, like Bhagavan. It's exactly the same as Bhagavan. Chintitavan, chintitavanto, chintitavantaha, chintitavantam, chintitavanto, chintitavataha, and then chintitavata, and so on. So you can use it, but in this way of using it, you only need to know the nominative case. So you have chintitavan.
Yes.
So really, but you do have to have the plural, and you can have the dual also. So chintitavantao, and in the feminine with chintitavatyao and chintitavatyaha. And then if it was, if you had a possibility, it's a possibility you could have a neuter, like mitrani. So mitrani, let's say neuter mitrani. So then it would be chintitavanti, like chintitavanti. Okay, next. You're doing this one. Shamantika is our.
Этот Джанан Ахам это вот парьянтам этася пуджам на критаван.
Okay. All right. So what's the main part of the sentence there?
Aham na kritavan.
Right. So
I did not do.
So kim na kritavan.
Pujam.
Yeah, pujam na
So I
kritavan.
didn't.
So
So I did not do puja. Etasya to this.
Etasya kasya.
Sarpasya.
Very good. Okay. Sadhu. All right. So now the hard word here is etavat paryantam.
Yes, I don't realize what's this.
Okay, so this is actually this is also quite late in the I think that it was just where we stopped doing the manual for the last session. So tavat means to the extent that. So you have yavat and tavat. So that's a very important one of these adverbial constructions. It means to the extent, and it can be time, or it can be a distance, like that. So it's the measure of something. So now in this particular case here, paryantam means up to. So like you have paryantam also can be used about time or about distance, right? Paryantam, what is it?
Okay, so antam is end.
No. Well,
Right?
yes, it's connected to that, but it's paryantam. So paryantam means,
Paryantam.
yeah, so it means up to. So when you have this phrase here, etavat paryantam, up all this time, etavat paryantam, well, it's a bit hard to translate literally, because it means for this period of time, etavat paryantam, up to, but it means up till now, during all this time, right? So for all this time, and I think in English we probably translate it best as for all this time, or during all this, or up until now. You could even say like that. Etavat meaning, up to this point, meaning now. So up until now. So for up, and this is, and here you go up here. You forgot, you didn't do the first part. Etat ajanan.
So этот this.
Yeah.
Ajanan. So I don't know.
Anybody?
Unknown to me.
And yeah, well, it's a present participle, right? So it's janati, and then janan, and then ajanan. So not knowing this, I, for all this time, did not do his worship. I didn't worship him. So tavat paryantam said for all this time, up to now, paryantam is indicating a limit. It's a bit of an interesting, we break down that word, because the literal translation doesn't quite work in English. All right, Vinodini, do the next one.
Okay.
Let me I just scrolled up a little bit so that you can.
Okay. Etaha eva mama krishikaryam nishphalam bhavati.
Okay.
For this reason only, my farming has not produced fruit.
Very good. All right, so nishphalam is usually the word that's used for failure, right? So you can say my farming work has failed. My farming has failed. But yeah, ata eva mama krishikaryam nishphalam bhavati. Very good. So we already had. So I like this, the way that he's doing it. He's doing a repetition, and so you get the same words again. So you're supposed to remember them, friends. All right, next one, Braja.
Itaha param aham etam pujayishyami iti. From now I will worship. Etam means this, which means the snake, right?
Yeah. So just say, well, we would say it, because we wouldn't give a gender, but the snake is masculine, so it's using a masculine pronoun here. But here, notice the use of etat, right? So etat, why etat? Because etat, he's talking about it. It doesn't necessarily mean the snake is in his mind. It's not so much that he's pointing to the snake, right? If it was the imam, then he would be actually, referring to it as a physical presence. But etat more means that it's a mental presence, like tam. Anyway, that's just a thought. Next one, who's next here? Semantica. Oh, you got a nice long.
Why do we use param here?
Okay, param. So this is here. So param means other, but it also means after. So itak param. Param is a tricky word because it has several usages. Once you learn these are fixed usages. So atak param and itak param, both of those are used. Like here you had ataha, but we've been seeing itaha also. So itaha from here, ataha from this, it's really the same thing, but just the different forms of the same word, really, because itaha means from this, and param after. So from now on, really, is what it's saying. From now on, I will worship him.
Okay.
All right. Any question on that? These are fixed expressions, right? So they're worth knowing because you have itak param from now on, just like etavat paryantam up until now, right? This is what etavat paryantam, or for all this time. These are kind of fixed expressions. Okay, go on.
Evam chintayitva haridattaha kutachit kinchit kshiram aniya patre sthapayitva valmikasya samipam gatya uktavan.
Okay, stop there.
So anyway,
that's a 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 gerunds in there.
So thinking like this, evam chintayitva haridatta. So next gerund is aniya, right?
Right.
So is it from ni, right? Like to lead?
Oh, that's an important verb there. You get this one down now. This is an important verb. You have need dhatu, and then need. So ani means to bring.
To bring.
Or to fetch. Here, I guess probably the best word here would be to fetch.
Okay. And
like anayati.
Yeah, anayati. Yeah, anayati would be the present tense. Yeah, aniya, and then nitwa is the ktwa gerund, nitwa, but here aniya.
So kshiram maybe what should it be? It should be like milk, but that's milk right, is dut or not? Milk. Yeah. So fetching some milk from somewhere.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, kutashtit from somewhere.
So how to say? Stapaitva, it's like situated.
Okay, well, you're looking, yeah, but like I'm saying, this is quite useful actually in terms of vocabulary, I have to say, because these are the words that they're using the basic terms for certain procedures, right? So this vocabulary is very useful. So stapayatva is the causative of tishtati, right? Of sta.
Yes, I just don't understand how to say it in English.
Yeah, okay,
I see
so now
what
it just means this has been being used. We saw this in previous stories also.
Putting in some place.
Putting. That's right. Putting it in a patra, in a bowl or in some kind of container. So placing, putting, that's what we got here. Valmikasya.
Yeah, I already have seen. So having come near the anthill,
that's right,
and said.
That's right. Okay, so that was a lot of subordinate clauses there. So thinking like this, Haridatta brought some milk from somewhere, a little milk, kinchit kshiram, a little bit of milk, right, and placed it in a bowl. And then coming to the near to the anthill, he said, Kimuktavan Vanodini Vada Pata.
Okay. Bo Kshetrapala Bhavan Atraiva Asti Iti Aham etavat paryantam na gyanavan.
Gatavan.
Gyatavan. So he says, oh, Lord of the protector of the field. Let's see what he says. Says, up to this point, are we going to say that up to this point? Up to this point, I did not.
You can actually say you can say all this time.
Okay,
like
all this time, I did not know this. But then he's got atravat.
Atraiva. Atra eva.
Atra eva. Well, sometimes that's pronounced differently. So all this time,
Why is it atraiva? Atraiva. So bhavan atraiva asti iti aham etavat paryantam nagyataman.
So what he's saying, up to this point, I did not know this. I did not know that you were here.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, here, so the ava is a tricky one, because ava, when you're going to put it, where you're going to put it, right? So if you think Indian English, when they say in Indian English, when they say only, right? So you are here only, like that. It often, when you hear that only, Indian people saying only, then you kind of wonder what the heck's he talking about. But what they're doing, what that only is ava. So
I did find in the dictionary that sometimes that atra eva is pronounced on this spot here.
Yeah, on this spot, right, this very place. That's what it means, right? It's just emphasizing in this very place. I didn't know that you were in this exact spot. So it's emphasizing atra. So you have to figure out how like you have to figure out how that emphasis, when we translate it into English, how would you transmit that emphasis? Okay, we all right? Should we move on? Etavat paryantam nagyatavan. So there you see another perfect participle, right? You have to use the perfect participle, you have to just know the past participle. Right? So gyata, that's the past participle from gya. So gyatavan, I knew. Na gyatavan, I didn't know. And you got the iti. So the iti is separating, telling us what he didn't know. All right.
Exactly. I wanted to ask what iti is doing here.
Yes, iti. So that's right. So let's just think this. Yeah. So what he didn't know. So iti, I should really say, iti is kind of like an accusative case, in making what goes before it, well, not just accuse, it can be any case really, because you can say something else, but you have it. So bhavana traiva asti iti, thus I did not know. So I did not know this, that you were here. All right.
Fine.
Yeah, so next one, who's next here? Do we do Vinodini? All right.
No, me.
Braja, go ahead.
Ataha pujam na kritavan. Therefore, I did not do puja.
Yeah.
Kshamyatam iti. I'm sorry, I apologize. Anantaram patram tatraiva sthapayitva.
Yeah, so you kshamyatam's, it should be forgiven, right? It's a lot.
It should be forgiven.
It's a passive lot, passive imperative in the third person singular. So it's a kind of an impersonal statement. It should be forgiven. But
please forgive me. Yeah,
it's
like,
right?
please forgive me, or may I be forgiven.
That's right, something like that.
Anantaram patram tatraiva sthapayitva griham agatavan. After that, placing the pot, he went home.
Yeah, placing the pot in that very spot. So we had atraiva here, now we have tatraiva, and griham, he came home. All right, good. Vinodini.
Isn't it Shamantika's turn? No, is it my turn?
Oh, yeah, go. Okay,
yes.
Sorry. Yeah, Shamantika. Yeah, sorry. You keep the. I guess by now there's only 3 of us, so I should be able to keep the order. But I'm just so you know who you are.
Okay.
Anantara Dine,
Uh-huh.
Tatra, Yada, Gatam, Tada, Patre, Ekaha, Dinaraha, Asit.
So dinaraha, it's interesting, dinaraha, because this is obviously dinara is an Arabic word. So it's one of those words that crept in, or maybe it went the other way around. I don't know. But for me, dinara has always been the money that was used in what? In
Persia, как pronounce? Persia? Persia?
Yeah, in Persia, right? In Iran or in Iraq, in Mesopotamia. All right, read it. I mean, translate it. Anantara dine tatra yadagatam.
On the other day, there.
Anantara dine would be the next day.
The next day, so when he went there, then there was in the plate 1 dinar.
Yes, silver coin, I think, is a dinar.
Okay.
So, but
Gold
here,
coin.
so just to notice here, gatam. So you see, gatam is neuter, but he, you know, so no, that's doesn't change the meaning. It's just the way it's being done. So it should be says that it would be here because we have no subject, right? But if you and really there's no connection between the yada and tada. So we could have used here, we could have used a sati saptami. But gatam, it's impersonal usage. So when we were talking about the past passive participles, then there was one usage, especially with verbs to go, that are impersonal. So they're neuter, but it's still a passive construction. So yena gatam. So mahajano yena gatam sapanta, right? So mahajano yena gata sapanta. Oh, that's a gata. Okay, excuse me. But gatam, you can also use yena gatam, tena gatam, tena tatra gatam, tena tatra gatam. So yada tena, haridattena, tatra gatam, tada, then in the pot there was a gold coin or silver coin, I think dinara.
Okay, thank you for your comment. That is tena is understood. Yeah.
Yes, the tena is understood. Okay, now you do. Vinodini, go.
Okay, so ha tam. Oops, where you go?
I'm sorry, I scrolled up a little bit.
Dinaram swikritvan. So he kept that gold coin.
Yeah, did you look up that swikritavan to get kept?
It took me a long time because most of the vocabulary shows it as swi karoti, different forms of the verb, but yeah.
Okay, well, this is kritavan, obviously, so it's swikritavan. So this is, again, just like above where I was talking about the chvi. We had another example up here somewhere. Where was it? We had what was it? Oh yeah, vashi. Oh, I was talking about vashikara, so that was a different thing. All right. Well, you can find this
svikaroti means to receive, right?
Just a second.
So this is it.
Let me just find the place again because okay, here we go. Sorry, I scrolled up and so I lost my place. Yeah, go ahead. What were you saying?
My line of thinking is svikaroti means to receive. So svikritavan would be he received, he took, basically.
Yeah. So this is actually a little different usage. The main usage, look, what is it? Swi. So in these trees, so this is again, like I said, in the 8th chapter of the manual, if you want to look it up. And the swi kritavan. So swi krita, swi, make his own. he krita, he made, swi, so it's swa, means one's own possession, right? Now swi, when you put, you just lengthen that, you make a long e and you connect the two words. So you have vashi kritaman, swi kritaman. You can use any word you like, you know, and you can make it into a chvi samasa, but it's a verbal form. So you can swi karoti, angi karoti. That's another famous one. Angi karoti, angi, to make it a part of yourself. So angi karoti and swi karoti are often used interchangeably. It means to accept or took. So here it's being used to mean take. He took it. So that's a little bit, you know, but it's usually used as a kind of mental acceptance. You know, I accept it. Aham Krishna bhaktim swikritavan asmi. Aham bhagavata tattvam swikaromi. I accept the tattva of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Aham angi karomi, the same thing. Or Krishna tam bhaktam angi karoti. Krishna tam bhaktam swikaroti. Krishna accepts. Yo bhaktaha. Krishna Bhagavad Gitayam vadati. Patram pushpam phalam toyam ityadi yo me bhaktya parichati tadaham bhakti uparitam ashnami prayatatmana. Tatra Krishna bhaktasya niveditam, bhaktasya or bhaktena niveditam annam Krishnaha swikaroti. He accepts. So that's the more common usage. Swikaroti meaning to accept. But here he's using it a little bit more, you know, a little bit more prosaically, as just to mean to take. So he took that coin. Next. Who's next?
Who is next?
Who just did? That was Braja?
It was me. I did that little.
Okay,
sentence.
so then it's
Okay,
Braja.
so that's me. Tataha rabhya saha eva evam pratidinam kshiram samarpitavan ekam dinaram pratidinam praptavan cha. So tataha, therefore, he began eva eva, similarly that way, every day, samarpitavan. So kshiram samarpitavan. Samarpitavan. I don't know, samarpitavan. It's, I don't know. To me, it
Atma,
looks
have you heard
like
the word?
from.
Have you ever done this, Raja Kishori? Tvam kadapi Krishna charane atma samarpanam kritavati. Kim atma samarpanam kritavati. You heard the word atma samarpanam? No?
No.
Atma samarpanam means to surrender. When we say surrender to Krishna, atmanam samarpaya. Atmanam samarpaya. So, to make given. Something like that.
Okay.
Arpita means offered. So offered. Samarpitavam. He offered an offering. Atma samarpanam.
Okay.
I offer myself. I surrender myself.
So,
But here, offer.
Aham punar anuvadani. Therefore, he began similarly every day offering the milk, kshiram.
Yeah. Just make. Okay, go ahead. Finish it.
1 golden coin every day he received.
Yeah, praptavan. It could also mean found. Let's say, or he received.
Found.
Received is good. Or he took again, or he got. Just simply he gets. Right. Prapti. Prapti means to get something. All right. So just the only comment I have here is tataha arabhya. So arabhya is a gerund from beginning. So tataha arabhya is just a fixed expression here. So these are, you know, fixed expressions of tataha arabhya, starting from then. Okay, I'll say from that time, So it really just means from that time on, he offered milk every day in this way, evam eva, in this very way.
Mhm.
Okay, and then he found one gold coin. Okay, found I think is good. He would find one gold coin. All right, next one, Samantika.
Evam eva kanichana dinani atitani. So in this very way,
Okay, leave out
so it is
kanichana.
all plural neutral. It is clear. So dinani days, atitani. So atitani и kanichana, I don't know.
Well, look, that's not so hard. Kanichana. So kaschit, kopi, and kaschana, right? Kaschana. Actually, it was interesting. Well, anyway, I was just doing this one yesterday in the Preeti Sandarbha about kascha and kaschana, because Sridhar Swami takes it, the word is kaschana, and it's Lakshmi Devi. So she's saying Lakshmi is coming out of the milk ocean, and she is looking around for a husband. So this is called Lakshmi Swayamvara. It's a part of the milk ocean. It's an 8th canto, 8th chapter. And so Lakshmi is looking around for a husband, and she doesn't find anyone who has all good qualities. And so she's listing good qualities and then canceling them out. So she said, she doesn't mention anybody's names, but the commentators indicate who these people are that she sees there, and she's refusing to accept them because they're too imperfect for her. And then at the very end, she says, Sumangalaha kaschana mam nakankshati. Let's hear again. Sumangalaha kaschana kaschana mam kankshati. So Sumangala kaschana. So Sridhar takes it. Sumangala kascha na mam kankshati. That there is no the one who is most auspicious does not want me. But Jiva Goswami says, no. He says that Sumangala kaschana mam kankshati. The one who is most auspicious, he desires me. So he put that actually is well, I won't go on any further about that. But here, kani chana, so it's kani, yani kani chapapani, kani chana, so it's indefinite. So it means some. Here in this particular case, it just means some or a few. And dinani, days, so for a few days. And then atitani, that's the past participle, atita, ati-ita, so passed over, crossed over. In other words, several days. So in this way, several days passed by, or several days went by.
Once again, what is kani?
Kani is the plural of kim.
Oh, okay.
Kim ke kani, kena kabhyam kaihi.
Okay.
Everybody gets that? Did anybody, Vinoda, Braja, you all got that?
Yeah, why wouldn't you say
Yes.
some days passed?
Because the indefinite adjectives, the indefinite, these indefinite pronouns, they can be used in that way. Like when you say kinchit dehi, kinchit means just a little bit. So kanichit, some, it means some, several, a few days, like that. So it's taking, a few, some days went by. You can translate like that. Some days went by. Kinchit means something, right? So just something. You hear Indian people saying like that, something, and just give me a little bit. So here, kadachit, kanichana, kanyapi. But here, kanichana is used. So for a few days, a few days went by, or some days went by.
And atitani, it looks like that. What is the form? What is the form? Because it looks like also like neuter noun plural.
Okay, well,
It
it's
is
not a
some
noun. Yeah, it's a
verbal
past.
form.
It's a past participle. It's atitam. So like kinchit dinam atitam. If you put it in the singular. Kinchit dinam ati, but you wouldn't say that really. Kinchit, but if you said kinchit dinam atitam, it would mean a part of the day went by, right? Some of the day went by. Kinchit dinam, but you wouldn't hear that so often. I think kanichit dinani atitani. Very nice Sanskrit sentence. Come on now.
Yeah, very
So
beautifully.
some days went by. All right. Back to
Now
you,
clear.
Vinod.
Thank you.
Anybody have a problem still? No.
No.
Okay, go ahead, Vinod.
We're out of time. Do you want to keep going?
Oh, time is seriously, we out of time.
Yeah.
Well, can we do another 5 minutes? Let
Okay.
me,
I
or
don't
do you want to
mind.
wait till we can do next week and go? Let's do we'll continue this one on next week. All right.
Okay. Okay.
But
Yeah, I think we can continue next week. And can we also I have a suggestion. I mean, I just want to put it out to the group.
sure.
If we're not gonna talk about the stories, can we at least do vocal summaries? So maybe next week, each one of us summarize part of it. So in few words, we'll summarize, one paragraph or whatever. I mean, we should be prepared to summarize the whole story, but
Okay.
you can
Well,
just
no,
in few sentences say what
I'm good
happened.
with that. Yeah. So I haven't been talking about preparation or homework with this course because it was just meant to be a little bit of fun, But
Right, but I'm just, if anyone wants to do anything like this, so we can start
what I would like to do,
verbalizing it.
what I was hoping to do. So let's do it like this. We'll go next week. We'll read this, and then I'll ask questions. All right.
Okay.
So I'll ask questions in Sanskrite prakshyami yuyam tesham prashnanam uttaram va uttarani dasyanti. So I will ask questions and you will give the answers.
Yes, it's very good idea. So not just to try and
good.
fit a story, one story to each day, because it is too much maybe and too much rush, which we don't need actually. So I think it would be a good idea maybe next time quickly read it again and then discuss.
All right. Let's try it next week, okay? So well, you're the 3 live students. So the live students are the ones who get to dictate. But no, it'll be beneficial for anybody who listens to the tape also, because we, we'll start to get into the flow of things by speaking and by asking questions and answering them. All right?
I will be your token beginner.
No. I don't believe it.
I can't speak at all. Seriously.
No.
Actually, I also not very good at it. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I mean, the thing is, well, that's why we have to practice. All right.
Exactly.
All right. So but that was really the intention. I really wanted to use this course for that purpose, but so far it hasn't worked out quite like that. So it's my fault, I think, because I tend to race ahead, and I tend to start getting my research mind starts to go. Just like even today, I was going into the here you have the, see right here it is right there. Like the next is here. Well, you want to hang here? This is got the sound. Here she's talking here. Let me. Where's the sound? All right, I don't hear it, so never mind. But I do have the story up there, so I was looking at it from the original story.
Can you post that link?
Hoping to move on to that, but at any rate, that's all right. Let's leave that aside. There was a Brahmin here. You see, asti kasminchit adhishtani. So you see the differences there. But anyway, let's leave that aside. I'll send you the link if you're interested.
Yes.
Okay.
Looking
Because you
forward
can
to
hear,
it.
I suggest, slow it down. Some people are already doing that, but you can do this on YouTube. You can slow it down to 50%. I put it at 75% because even I find it too fast. But if you move it down to 75 or 50, you'll get it. You'll be able to hear exactly the pronunciation and everything. So it's quite good. And this story is not all that different from the one that we have, but just a lot of the harder words have been taken out. Okay. Jai Sri Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Purnam madah purnam idam, purnat purnam udachyate, purnasya purnamadaya, purnam evavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Shyam Tai Gaur Pramandi Hari Bol.